Most of us have a lot on our minds, and we are constantly in a position of having to remember. We have to remember where we left our cell phone, parked our car, and it's probably good to remember your anniversary. As if we don't already have enough on our minds, the Torah also asks us to remember. We are to remember the following 6 events. 1. The Exodus from Egypt. 2. Receiving the Torah at Sinai. 3. Worshipping the golden calf. 4. Shabbat. 5. Miriam's punishment. And finally 6. What Amalek did to us in the wilderness. Okay, 6 things to remember isn't too onerous a task, but why these 6? Let's think about them. In remembering the Exodus, we remember that we were once slaves, and that memory ought to soften our attitudes and behaviors to the good people of this world who work hard, earn little, but nonetheless persevere in providing for their families. We remember the giving of the Torah at Sinai because it was the show of shows. God center stage, thunder, lightning, smoke, and the sharing of some important rules to guide us in our daily lives. We remember worshiping the golden calf because, although we are the chosen people and received the Torah at Sinai and blah, 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 hey, let's not get on our high horse. We've messed up royally in our day, and we had better walk this world with the humility befitting the imperfect. We remember Shabbat, that sweet 25-hour respite from deadlines, shopping, cooking, email, phone calls, and the sundry nervous hilarias that make life a chore. But on Shabbat, there are no chores. It's God's gift of rest to us all. We remember Miriam's punishment when she spoke ill of her brother Moses, and we are reminded of the fact that you can't choose family, but they're family all the same, and so let's cut them some slack. We can use our creative side to explain away some of our family's less than desirable habits. And finally, we remember Amalek. Amalek, that barbaric tribe that saw Israel as a threat and attacked us, striking at the weak, the elderly, the ill, in short, those who are on the margins of society. Remember Hubert Humphrey, vice president under LBJ? He once said, "The moral test of government is how that government treats those who are in the dawn of life, the children, those who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, and those who are in the shadows of life, the sick, the needy, and the handicapped." Whatever Amalek was, it was the very antithesis of the kind of society Israel was to become. The charge to remember Amalek comes with a qualification. Not only are we to remember Amalek, we are also to, quote, blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven, unquote. Now that's a paradox. I said a paradox, not a pair of ducks. That's better. It's a paradox. How do you remember Amalek and blot out Amalek's memory? All too often, it's the criminals that make the names for themselves, while their victims sink into anonymity. That's an injustice, and the Torah rails against it. Remember Amalek. Remember all those who are morally bankrupt. Remember them so you don't fall victim to their schemes. But if you let them live only in infamy. Do not glorify their evil. Their fame is undeserved. This Shabbat is known as Shabbat Zakhor, the Shabbat of remembering, and it is the Shabbat dedicated to the mitzvah of remembering Amalek. Shabbat Zakhor is always the Shabbat before Purim, a day when the name Haman is greeted by the thunderous roar of groggers and noisemaking, thus fulfilling the mitzvah of blotting out the name of the wicked, particularly Amalek, from whom Haman descends. Increasingly, we've outsourced our memory to hard drives or the cloud, and instead of bothering our minds with needed info, we've grown adept at knowing where to find it. Not a terrible thing, but the Torah is suggesting we revisit that modus operandi. There are certain things in life we simply must remember, for what we remember is who we are. Cyber Rav here, wishing you all a fabulous Shabbat Shalom.